Hello YouTube and welcome back to Allie's Wonderland Creations. I am Alice Seraph and I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States. Well, I'm still on my January paper pumpkin called Key to My Heart for January 2023. This is alternative video number 8. Before I show you my sample, I'm going to show you the flyer instruction sheet. There it is. And you guys know that you won't see any of these projects from me. Just can't do it. Just a little different, I guess. And then I wanted to show you that this month's kit had these little heart boxes, which are great little boxes. I'm going to do a project with them, just not right this moment. Then this is the Sunshine and Smiles kit for February 2023's Paper Pumpkin. The add-on are dies. And if you see right here, it does that little frog. That little wee frog's going to be in there somewhere because there's a die to go with it because I bought it. They're a set of 2 little dies. They were like $6. I love the idea of them giving us little dies to go with our stamp set for Paper Pumpkin. So I'm really excited about that. What else do I have to go with you? So Miss Emma Peterson, if you see this video, you commented on one of my scrapbooking posts I did during early summer, but I never got your address, honey, and I need your address to give this to you. I'm going to keep this till the end of January. If you don't claim it by then, I'm going to go ahead and do something else with it. So please, if you see this video, email me your address at aliceseraphin1969@gmail.com or private message me on Facebook, okay? And then Miss Cynthia Pitts, you won some paper from me. I had enough to do all 4 people who shared and commented on that video. So I'm doing the same thing. You have till the end of January to claim this. If not, I'm going to give it away or do something with the papers. So other than that, let's get started. I'm going to move my whiteboard down and show you my card. This is a gatefold with what they call a lock and slide mechanism for the gate. So this comes off and it opened up like that, and I just roughly did it. I don't like that I ended up with too much of a border at the top and bottom because I cut this piece first and I wasn't thinking all the way through this project. So we're going to change that up, but I have all of these layering circle dies that I cut are already cut and ready for us to do this project. So I'm going to stick this back on my little tab there, and I'm going to set that aside so I can show you here. If you notice, what I did is I did a bit of a I like these soft colors for Valentine's Day. Bright colors are not my forte. Soft subtle colors, but this is backed with our craft paper. I don't use it a whole lot, but it's a natural fiber paper. It's a bit stiffer than regular cardstock, but I really like it. It is pliable. It only comes now in the 6x6. It used to come in regular cardstock size. So let's see what we have in my envelope. The colors of ink we are going to be using are Soft Succulent and Petal Pink and some black Memento. I have everything written down that you're going to need. So let me turn my little notebook over that I've been using. We're going to need score tape, a bone folder. So our card base. Here we go. We'll just get it all out of its envelope. Our card base is 5.5 by 8.5. You are going to score at each end at 2 1/8 on this end and 2 1/8 on this end. And we'll do that together. I'm just going to go over what pieces that we're going to need. So our next layer that we are going to need, where are they? Oh, really? Come on. I know I had them cut and they've disappeared. we will cut them together. So we are going to cut a layer of craft. We're going to cut 2 that are 2 by 5 1/4. Okay. The next layer, we're using our card base from the kit. We're going to cut it in half. We're going to cut this. We're going to cut 2 of them that are 1 3/4 by 5. So our inside layers, you're going to have a craft layer that is 4 by 5 1/4. That's this piece. We are going to be using that other side of the card base, which is petal pink. This will be cut to 3 3/4 by 5. Then we have a layer of basic white, okay, right here, which is 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. And from the kit, like I said, we're using the petal pink card base. We are using, let me get it out, that large vellum circle. Okay. We're using the sentiment strip, this one right there. And for the locking mechanism, I have all this stuff. Oh, those must have already come out. You will need 3 circles if you do it like I do. 3 circles of the same color of the card base. Okay, so right here we are. 3 circles, 1 3/4 inch circle punch is what I use. Same color as our card base. You can use a die or a punch. I used my punch. Next, we have the layering circle dies. So let's see. I used, for soft succulent, I used the very largest scallop circle die. Then we went with a 2 1/2 inch scallop circle die. Then we came in with a piece of petal pink, which is 2 1/8 inch circle. And then we came in with the piece of craft, which is 1 1/2. And you will need a scrap piece of paper to do the medallion. I have this little piece we're going to use. So let's get going on this card. So first thing we're going to do is we are going to do our card base. So you have your sheet that is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2. Now we're going to put it in our cutter trimmer, whatever it is you use to score, and you are going to score it 2 1/8. And I'm going really nicely over it. Just gentle, even pressure several times will do. You don't got to force it. I'm turning it around to the other side, and I'm going to score it 2 1/8. So that is our gatefold, the basic gatefold. That's it. Next, we are going to cut out of craft. The sad thing is I know I already cut this. I just don't know. They didn't end up in the envelope. That's probably one piece right there. But we can do this again. So I'll show you what step we are on right now. We are cutting layer number 1. This is for the outside of the card. We're doing craft cardstock. We're cutting it 2 5 1/4. So I'm going to cut 2 strips that are 2 inches. You get it on here, just so. This time I'm using that dark blade. There's 2 inches. We're going to do that one more time. Okay, now we're going to turn it and cut it at 5 1/4. There's one. I know I usually use my guillotine, but I already have this out, so why not use it? So there are our layering piece for the front of our gatefold. Next, we need to cut our card base up, and I'm going to use the guillotine for this because it's just easier for me because I'm cutting that card base apart. So I'm going to fold it gently, not, with a bone folder. And I am going to cut it apart. Now we're going to work on this. Now there is a bit of that score line, that little bump there. We are going to cut that off. Just that little hair, because I don't want that little bump on there. So out of this piece, we need to cut 2. and they need to be at 1 3/4 by 5. So what I am going to do is, this is at 4 1/4. I'm going to cut it directly in half to begin with. So if it's 4 1/4, we want it to be cut at 2 1/8, like so. Now I'm going to turn it around because I have that nice straight edge. I'm going to turn it around and now cut it at 1 3/4. Okay. And that just ensures that I don't end up with this on one side of my piece, because I want it to be a nice amount. I don't want any solid color on there. So I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Line it up at 1 3/4. And I'm going to cut those strips off. Now I need this to come all the way down to 5 inches. So I know that on my card, where did that go? See, when I first did this, I cut all of this off, and it's too much. So I'm going to have to leave some of that solid petal pink on there. So I'm going to start there, turn it around. I'm trying to get it to 5. So I'm going to cut here to 5 1/4. And then I'm going to trim it down a little bit more on one end. Turn it around. I'm just, looking at it. Oh, no, I want a little bit. I'm going to keep trimming it until I got it roughly even on both sides. A nice little bit. Still need to just trim in those edges. I don't want it to be too... Oh, there's my 5-inch mark. That's what I needed. So there you can see I have that little bit left at the top, and we need to repeat that with this piece. So I'm going to take it down. Now I know that I can do a wider cut on the edge. Probably about right there. I'm going to turn it around, just getting it to be closer to that 5-inch mark, and I'm just flipping it until I get it where I want. And right there we have it. So I have my 2 pieces, and yes, they are now going to have that little edge showing a petal pink, and that's okay because it needs to be that way. Next, we are doing our inside second layer of our card base, and that needs to be at 3 3/4 by 5. So I'm just taking this now to 3 3/4, turning it to 5, or did I? No, 2 3/4 by 5. Why do I second guess myself, y'all? I do it all the time, but I already cut it to 3 3/4, which is right. I don't know why I'm doing it like that. If I have the first one at 5, it is 5. I don't know why my brain was just like, no, not 5. It is. So 3 3/4 by 5. And now we have all of our pieces ready for our card. We're going to start stamping with the inside, and we're using petal pink just for this little heart lock. And I haven't found my Stampin' Pierce mat yet, but this will do in a pinch. So we're going to bring in our layer of basic white, which is 3 1/2 by 4 1/4. And in the center, we're going to stamp ourselves a petal pink heart. Just like that. No problem. Oh, love it. While we're doing this, we're going to go ahead and stamp our envelope. And I am using one of the envelopes from the kit for this card, just because I can. I am going to stick it down here in that left bottom corner while we're doing all that. Now I'm going to close up the petal pink because I don't need it no more. We're done with petal pink. You can see our cards coming together. We are going to go ahead and do some stamping with Soft Succulent. And on our envelope, we are going to add our key. I really should remove that one, on the back here, just to coordinate with the inside of our card. So our envelope is finished. Let's bring the inside in, and we are going to stamp our key right above our heart. And then we're going to stamp the sentiment, "You hold the key to my heart." And this is all being stamped in Soft Succulent. Ta-da! So good. And we need to stamp "To My Valentine." So I'm going to pick that up. And where's my sentiment strip I said we are using from the kit? Right there. Soft Succulent. Simple, simple, simple. And I've already stamped what I call the Deadbolt stamp. This one in Soft Succulent. So we're going to close up our Soft Succulent for the moment and bring in that black Memento. Maybe, if it wants to cooperate. Here we go. Doing our keyhole in black. Try to get it in the center. A little hard one. I don't want to put my head in the camera. But there we go. All done. Now it's just the assembly. So let's get a look at all of our pieces and parts. So I'm going to grab that card base and the bone folder where, oh, there it is. So I like to, I know some people fold when you score it, that beveled edge on the back, they like to score that in inwards. They would do it like this. I like to fold it this, I like to fold it away from that beveled edge, if you would. It's just my preference. Everybody is different. They have their own ways. And let's see. Why is that just not... I didn't do such a hot job in scoring that, but it lines up with the bone folder. You can... There we have one. Actually, it's going to come together better than the other one. Nicely done. Get my large bottle of Tombow. We are now going to glue our inside layer pieces together. And then we'll put them all in at one time. So we're going to layer these up. So our craft, our petal pink from our card base. Then we have our basic white, which we did our stamping already on. Ooh, this needs to be trimmed down just a hair. I wonder why. This wouldn't be the first time I've done this, y'all. So did I think I had it right and not? I'm going to remove this for a moment. It should be at... Why is this not right? We're going to make it right by 4 3/4. So it's at 5. Needs to come 1/8 of an inch off each end to keep it centered. I didn't want to keep my guard on here because it would get glue on it, because I already put the glue on it. We will make it work. There we go. Not to worry, it happens. We're still going to roll with it. Not going to let it deter us from finishing a beautiful card, which in my opinion, it is beautiful. I really like it. I like the lattice in the gold on the petal pink with this natural color of the craft, and then on this beautiful Soft Succulent. To me, that is a beautiful, soft, subtle, lovely card. So there we have it. Ta-da! Now we're going to work on the front layer pieces, which we have our 2 pieces of craft and our card base pieces we cut down. And now these are going to look much better than the original card. even though it still has that little bit of petal pink there that originally really bothered me. It probably doesn't bother most people, but it really did bother me. I'm gonna try to do some cards that are more out of my comfort zone. I mean, that's how we grow and everything, by trying new things. So now that we have our two card layering pieces, we're going to glue those onto our card, one on each side of, why is that like, it happens, this is like bugging me there. Come with me. You got to come out a little bit. It's just wasn't quite straight as I get glue on everything. Okay. So there is panel number 1. And there's just a soft little edge around the border. Here's panel number 2. Which I think is better than that super wide gap that I had. So I liked this one much better, the inside of our card. Now we have all of these layering circles. So we're going to start with the top piece first, and that's our deadbolt with the keyhole. We're going to layer that on top of the craft. And I didn't put any dimension in it because I had so many layers of these circles. I didn't want to. Didn't need that piece after all. I had already prepped. So next, the craft onto the petal pink. The petal pink onto the basic white. And it really, the original, my sample card didn't have that layer of white, but it needed it. It needed one more layer on this card. Oh, so many. But you'll see it in a minute. You'll see the difference. Let me show you. See how we have that wide gap on that soft succulent, and that layer of basic white just is what it needed. So next we have to glue this, not glue it. We're going to use tear tape actually. Where's my lid? And you don't want a whole bunch. See how you can see my tear tape there? So you got to be a little choosy with where you put it. The reason why I had so much tear tape is I was originally just going to lay that on it, and then I thought, let's do that slide and lock part of the card, so I changed it up. So next what we're going to do is get our little 3 circles that are 1 3/4 of an inch. We are going to fold all 3 of these in half and use our bone folder or whatever you have really well on that center line. All 3 of these need to be folded. So there's one. And I'm really creasing over this. And here's 3. And we are going to put score tape on, starting with just 2 of them. So let's see. I was like, do I have any more of that stuff that came in a paper pumpkin? But I don't think so. So here's 1. I'm going to put 2 strips on these. 2. Okay. I'm going to go over it really well with my bone folder. And I'm going to peel it off with my little handy dandy needle that I love so much. And this is going to tell us where to put our score tape on the vellum when we get this onto the vellum. Just have to do this first. So I have my vellum. Now these 2 are going to make a circle with our folded lines. okay, like so. These two are going to make a circle. And I'm just trying to get this roughly center using my grid. And I'm going to stick one right there. And then I'm going to take this one and butt it straight up next to the other. And you can almost make a handle with it. You see that? That's what I want. Now, since I did that, I can see where my score tape is. Now I'm going to take score tape again, and I'm now going to put it just where those circles are. I don't want it to go past them. I don't want it to be seen when they take this off of the card. So we're going to rub it again really well. Handy dandy needle time. Yes, it is. There we go. And then all of those layering circle dies that we've put together, we are now going to place that on the center. And when you have it over, you will not see any score tape like you do right here. You won't see that because we covered it up. Next, we have this one. And you could do it like this, but it needed a little bit more stability. That's why I have the third circle. And you guessed it, I'm going to put score tape on it. So I'm going to put one strip on each side of the center score line, just like I did the others. I'm going to go over it really well with the bone folder. Handy dandy needle time again. Get that up. This one up. And here we have it. Now I held it together because I wanted it straight to sit straight in there. And then I brought one up and the other, and it just gave it a little bit more stability. So there is our lock. This is our other one. Now we have our sentiment to my Valentine for the front of the card. And where are my dimensionals? Because we're going to put dimensionals on one side of this strip where the to my is. We're going to stick a couple of dimensionals, if I can find some adhesive. Let's see, there's one, there's two. So we're going to put just a couple, and I'm just using edge pieces because I want to get that little strip taken care of. So here's another piece. I'm going to use all three of these. Yep. It's just me using up this little strip so I can get rid of the backings and get it out of my supplies. So here's our card base. Here is our big lock for our lock and slide card. Here is to my Valentine. I'm just getting it roughly center where I want and pushing down. The reason why there is no anything on this one is if it does, it would stick there and it wouldn't open. So we're just laying it there. And our slide and lock mechanism, you open your card. You can do it a couple ways. You can do it putting one like so, bringing the other over and closing it. And it slides up and down. And this one is really nice and tight. Wow. Much better than my first one, which had a little bit too much of a gap. Or you can do it this way. You have your card like so. Get it in there, and as you slide it down, it closes the card. So that is my project. Oh, we need bling. Where's the bling box? Come on. What do we have that would look really cool on here? I am tempted. I really like those. I think we'll use those. Those are polished dots I got off the clearance rack. And I love the clearance rack. I don't buy an excess amount of things off the clearance rack, like to use what I have purchased, and I think we're going to do this soft, it looks like petal pink to me, so why not use it. We're going to do a large clear one on this card in the center, if I can get it to come up, but it came up and it went flying across the room. It's all right. So we're going to put that large one in the center of our keyhole, and then I think just two right here. And do I want to do clear, or do I want to do the soft petal pink color? We're going to do that little soft petal pink color, just a little touch. Ooh, very, very pretty. That's it. That's all I'm doing on this one. And that is my card, my project. Ta-da! Yes, you can slide this on and off, or pop it off like I did, but it does slide. And little easy card to do, not hard. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, I would love to know. And I hope you come back and visit me in my wonderland. Bye-bye now.